As the playing field for the beat-em-up brawler is fast finding itself doomed to sequels or reinterpretations of a single franchise, along comes Street Fighter X Tekken, a game where two of the genre's established elite tenants come together to butt heads in this energetic crossover. Bringing a wealth of tweaks and features in hopes of providing a fresh experience to break the mold for gamers, does this ambitious offering emerge as the heavyweight champ, or should it throw in the towel in the first round?
The world will be mine for the taking!
Do something, do it right!
Prepare for battle, soldier! Search and destroy!
For gamers expecting nothing but unmitigated brawling, you may find yourself mildly surprised that Street Fighter X Tekken is replete with a story component. The gist is that an outer space object initially speculated to be a meteorite crashes on Earth, but further investigation reveals it to be an extraterrestrial artifact. Being given the name Pandora for its chest-like design and being chock full of unbridled power, the Mishima Industries triumvirate of Heihachi, Jin, and Kazuya Mishima all want to get it for themselves for their own insidious agenda. But conveniently, so does every other character in the known Street Fighter and Tekken universe, and their mutual desires drive them to duke it out to win possession of the mysterious artifact. The story is basically ineffectual and nothing more than a way to unite the franchises under the blanket of some form of narrative, but it's honestly not what you'll play the game for. Don't expect anything other than over-the-top dialogue and essentially non-existent plotting that leaves little to lasting impact. The appropriate way to refer to Street Fighter X Tekken's fundamental gameplay rhythm is deceptively simple. As both franchises' unique control schemes remain intact for the most part, the span of special combos and killer power moves requires significant time investment to not only familiarise yourself with, but to learn to use them to your advantage. It's a deep system that will take weeks to master the intricacies, but you'll reap rewards as great as the amount of hours you sink into it. It's a fortunate thing then that you have plenty of modes to choose from. Arcade mode takes you through each character's story, where Versus mode allows for quick matches for those who want to avoid hammy scripting and enjoy diving headfirst into every bout. There are also your standard practice and tutorial modes that provide both newcomers and veterans with thoughtful tasks to improve their skills. There's also attempts at further personalisation through the customization menu, where you can tweak your online battle ID card to your liking similar to Street Fighter 4, as well as dress up your characters with different clothing and physical features. Although it's enjoyable to indulge in, they're ultimately limited and purely cosmetic. Capcom have also strived to include some good icing on the fighting cake, most notably through the premiere of the Gem system, a series of colour-coded abilities that accentuate your chosen character's fighting style, which is also included in the customization menu. The sphere of battle upgrades they provide range from combat boosts like increased combo damage to assist abilities that give you a leg up with health or filling your crossbar, whilst some other abilities like auto block and improved counter may directly affect your chances of winning in battle. But in many ways, their perks feel far more passive than Capcom intends them to be, and it's unlikely that the best combination will impact hugely on your chances of winning, as skill seems to be a far more important factor to succeed. Another new mechanic is Pandora mode. Making your characters invulnerable during this period, if you're quick enough, it could lead you to emerge victorious, but as it happens very little during the game itself, it may come off as a new feature for feature's sake. On the whole, both of these additions are unexpectedly welcomed, as strategy does come into play if you know how to work both of them to your strengths, and it ultimately serves as a different way of providing something fresh to the fighting game table. Unsurprisingly, there are stylistic carryovers from the Tekken games, materialising in the form of tagging between your chosen two fighters mid-combat to both spare one's health and avoid a round loss in addition to advance your battle strategy. Once you fill your cross-power gauge, you can perform tag team special moves, and depending on whom you're paired up with, there are some well-executed attacks that might clinch your chance of victory. The 3D throw animations are also nicely integrated and work well within the Street Fighter aesthetic, but their rapid nature and at times comic reinterpretations will be sure to dishearten some long-time Tekken diehards. Both local and online multiplayer are featured, and for some, this will provide the game's greatest longevity. The online lobbies from Street Fighter 4's admirable setup remain the crux to play, where you can select between ranked matches and several other game modes that can feature up to 4 players in one match, all in an effort to earn battle points. Unfortunately, persistent lag issues during global matchmaking have carried over that lead to poor combat performance as well as unexpected dropouts prior to the match starting, so until a patch fix rolls out, it may be best to commit to regional matchmaking. If you have the feature turned on, random online opponents can also drop into your single-player arcade mode unannounced, and it cleverly evokes the feeling of being in a tons of fun style environment where any random gamer can join you at the arcade machine. Thankfully, it can be turned off if you wish to continue undistracted. Also included is a replay feature, which allows you to view your own saved matches as well as those of other players, which can be saved to your own archive. Most interesting is the Elite channel, where only highly skilled player replays can be submitted for both viewing pleasure and to also adopt some of the player's combat methods into your own arsenal. Local couch play returns, where up to 4 characters can battle out in the same mode, and it's a blast to play with friends if you're up for some healthy competition and a bit of fun. Street Fighter X Tekken's interpolation of familiar and new elements help it to feel unique in many ways, and while there's room for improvement in many areas, it's a solid gameplay experience from top to bottom once you accept the need to be patient and delve into what it has to offer. Capcom's visual portfolio is one of the industry's better examples of video game artistry, and Street Fighter X Tekken continues that time-honoured tradition. The crisp character models look great, with the Tekken characters translating excellently from their usually dour art style to the glossy Street Fighter aesthetic, and all the usual characters from the Street Fighter universe have also been subject to minor improvement over 2009's Street Fighter IV. The same goes for the audio, which retains the suitably campy in-game effects, and the voice acting continues to veer towards the Street Fighter declamatory style. The background animations for the 11 stages range between banal environments like markets or skateboarding halfpipes to extreme scenarios that include being chased by a mammoth on a speeding cruiser to apocalyptic landscapes. Several stages also see your characters moving to different sections of the location between rounds, which injects some variety into things, but they're not overly interesting or affect the outcome of any fight to a degree. But for the most part, they're engaging vistas and are far from being sterile. However polished it may be, the conundrum of the game being branded a crossover is rooted in the fact that the game is heavily based on the Street Fighter style, as most of what's carried over from the Tekken franchise is limited to the functional aspects of the game rather than any visual cues. Add to that the reinterpretations of usually stoic characters into loudmouth comics or martial arts pariahs, Tekken purists in some way are sure to be annoyed.
But I am the top fighter in the universe!
But once you accept it as Capcom's design choice and move on, you'll mostly be impressed by the game's super smooth frame rate and colourful sheen.
It sure does. Oh yeah! You guys are going down!
When it comes down to it, Street Fighter X Tekken is a terrific fighting game, but not the true union of giants that many were sure to be expecting. In essence, it is a Capcom game revolving around the developer's patented style, but it would have been nice to see a more thoughtful integration of Tekken's standout features infiltrate beneath the surface, rather than leaving us waiting for them to shine in the promised Tekken Cross Street Fighter. But if you take a chance and forsake franchise purity, these Antipodean combatants create an enjoyable and accomplished fighting game that, with its strategic focus on combat, customization, and endlessly challenging multiplayer fun, provides gamers with one of the better offerings of the genre in recent years. If you step into this ring, expect plenty of reward for your risk.
I still don't have what it takes. Mustering harder.